Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to episode 902 of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. We are coming off WWE Smackdown Live as we get closer to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Got your questions using the hashtag RoadToNoDQ1000. Let's get started today with the first one, which comes from Penelo14. I believe this is a first-time asker. I'm not sure, though. With Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler losing clean, do you think their momentum was lost? Ziggler did get some heel heat back, but still. I'll start off with Dolph Ziggler. I feel this is just part of the storyline with him getting more and more frustrated and becoming more and more vicious. I actually had an idea for Dolph Ziggler. He has been wearing the NWO t-shirt multiple times on Talking Smack. He has various other photos on social media with the NWO shirt. Why not reboot the NWO? Why not have Hall and Nash come out and reboot the NWO with Dolph Ziggler as the leader, and eventually Ziggler can recruit some of the other guys on SmackDown to join the new NWO. That's just an idea I had. At the very least, WWE could sell a ton of NWO merchandise by doing that. It would not hurt. Why not take advantage of the brand name and reinvent it here in 2017? It's been so long. But anyways, this is all part of the Dolph Ziggler storyline with him just getting more frustrated and becoming more vicious. Now, regarding Baron Corbin, I've seen a lot of people upset about the end of SmackDown with Corbin losing to John Cena clean. And that did surprise me. I figured it was going to be your typical outside interference. You had AJ out there at ringside doing commentary. I figured, okay, Corbin or Cena will get knocked into AJ. AJ will run in. It'll be a DQ. And Corbin will be protected. But no, John Cena beat him clean. And this is coming off of reports that WWE was looking to protect Corbin. And a lot of people, a lot of fans in particular, are very high on Corbin and feel that he can potentially be WWE champion. I did a poll on NoDQ asking people about Corbin, and a lot of people think he is a future WWE champion. I'm not sure I would go that far, but the guy certainly has some potential as a big man. So it was a bit of a surprise to see John Cena beat him clean on SmackDown. Do I think he was buried? I would not go that far, but it certainly does not help him to be losing clean to John Cena. But again, John Cena's in the main event. I guess WWE needs to build up John Cena. And that's the whole storyline with Cena, that he's a has-been and he has to prove himself again. But I don't know. I don't know if it was the right decision or not. They could have had somebody else lose to John Cena rather than Baron Corbin, who is supposed to be the future of the company, future WWE champion. Some people feel that way. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but I would not go as far to say that the guy was buried in that match. Although it was fairly decisive. I mean, it wasn't like it was a 20-minute match where Corbin kicked out of a ton of things. John Cena beat him relatively decisively. So, again, mixed feelings on it. Got this one here from Jishnu on the topic of John Cena. Your thoughts on Ryback Tyler Rex claiming that John Cena is burying upstarts and backstage domination of young talents? So this was recently fueled again when John Cena was mentioned by Ryback during Ryback's latest podcast, and Ryback talked about how Alex Riley's career was basically ended because of John Cena. I'm not so sure I believe that. I mean, we hear this a lot. Guys that leave the company are very negative about things that happened, and maybe there is some truth to Ryback's overall unhappiness. Maybe there were some backstage politics, but I really doubt John Cena would have that much pull. And let's face it, none of us were there, so we really don't know the truth about this, but I find it hard to believe that John Cena would sabotage somebody's career because he didn't get along with somebody, and I doubt that he would have that kind of pull. I mean, if this was 1997 WCW and John Cena was there in WCW, maybe he could have that kind of pull, but today I would find that hard to believe in this modern era of WWE. there's really no guy that has that kind of power. And I'm not even sure John Cena has that kind of power. I think John Cena is a guy who's going out there and doing his job, and people can say Cena's burying other talent, but the company wants John Cena to be strong. They see John Cena as their cash cow, and he's their biggest merchandise mover. He's the closest thing to Steve Austin or The Rock that WWE has as a somewhat full-time performer. He's been doing more part-time stuff, but they still rely on John Cena a lot to have that name value and draw the big crowds. And for the Royal Rumble, once again, they're trying to draw 60,000 people. So they're using John Cena, they're using Brock Lesnar, they're using Goldberg, and they're trying to build up Cena and make him a big draw. So in WWE's eyes, they gotta protect him. And I'm not sure what the deal was with Alex Riley. I mean, the guy did have some potential, and then all of a sudden he just fizzled out. So maybe there is some truth to the Ryback thing. We really don't know, because it's Ryback's word, and you could take it or leave it. I mean, unless you were there backstage when it all went down, you really don't know what the 100% truth is. So it's all hearsay and all he said, she said. Got this one here from Calvin. Seems like SmackDown Live has a title match every week now. I think it's overdone. Your thoughts? I like it. I'm actually a huge fan of it. I like the fact that every week the focus is on a title match and it's a hook for each show. That's one thing I've missed about Raw. Like Raw, back in the day, they used to build up something week to week, and there was always something to look forward to the next week. And I like what they're doing on SmackDown, where they're advertising title matches, and one week it's the women's title, the next week it's the tag team titles, and each week a title gets to be the focal point of the show. I actually think it's a great idea, and I do not feel they're overdoing it yet. Maybe if they do it for 6 months straight with every single week there being a title match, then I would make that argument that it's being overdone. But so far, I would not go that far. I mean, they've only been doing this, what, for a month now, where they've been doing a title match every week. I'm not at that point yet where I feel it's being overdone. And I think what they're doing so far has been very strong. Got this one here from Hipster Dude. If Undertaker wins the Royal Rumble, why do a career versus title match, since Undertaker doesn't have to put his career on the line? I suppose if that's the direction, they can figure out some sort of explanation for Undertaker to put his career on the line. I mean, this is WWE. I mean, they could do it without any reason whatsoever. I mean, if Undertaker is planning to retire, then that would be a strong hook for WrestleMania. Undertaker putting his career on the line if he cannot beat John Cena at WrestleMania. You know, Undertaker doing it out of pride more than anything else, saying, hey, look, you know, I'm not going to lose at WrestleMania again, and if I do, I'm done. And, you know, that sort of thing. And it does add a lot of intrigue to the match, and you're right. It doesn't make a lot of logical sense if Undertaker doesn't have to do it. So maybe they could do something at Elimination Chamber where Undertaker loses his shot or something, and then in order to get the title shot, he has to put his career on the line. They could come up with any number of things, or just randomly say, hey, Undertaker's going to put his career on the line. I could see that happening, maybe, maybe not. But if Undertaker is wrestling again at WrestleMania 34, then there's no need to do that stipulation other than just to draw in more people. But I think Cena and Undertaker just doing that for the WWE title is a pretty damn strong hook, and you really don't need that extra stipulation unless Undertaker is really retiring. Got this one here from Daniel Lynch. I think Undertaker should beat John Cena at WrestleMania for the title and retire a champion. He gave up the streak. He deserves it. Your opinion? I'm not really feeling that that is necessary, and to be perfectly honest, I think that Undertaker would not go for that. I just sense he has that old school mentality where on the way out, you put over the guy that's sticking around, and that has been the time-honored tradition, as Vince McMahon said back when the Montreal Screwjob took place, and trying to say that Brett needed to put over Shawn when he was leaving. In this case, when somebody's retiring, they're leaving, and, you know, they put over the guy that's sticking around. Undertaker retiring as champion, yeah, that would be cool. It hasn't really been done before, and I guess if anybody was going to do it, Undertaker would make the most sense because of his star power, and you could always do like a tournament or something after that to crown a new champion. So, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world, but I sense that from Undertaker's perspective, he would rather put over somebody on the way out rather than doing the selfish thing and winning the title when it's not really necessary. Got this one here from Chase Holland. Congrats on 900 Q&A videos. Thank you for that. Which match would you prefer to see Undertaker do at WrestleMania? Against Cena, Styles, or Reigns? I say Cena. I mean, if you guys have been watching the videos, you know I've been mentioning this match for a long time. People ask me, what's the biggest possible match WWE could do for WrestleMania? I think it's John Cena versus Undertaker, and we really don't know how much longer Undertaker is going to do this. This could be his last year, and it would be a shame if WWE missed out on doing that match. Two of the biggest stars in WWE history. They've never gone at it since John Cena became a major superstar, and that match would tear the house down at WrestleMania. It would be a true WrestleMania main event, and to me it would just be, it would be a huge waste if they do not capitalize and do that match. Now, yeah, Undertaker versus AJ would be interesting, and even Undertaker versus Reigns would be interesting, but like I said in previous videos, I think the only way that that would really work out would be if Reigns turns heel. That would be a good way to make Reigns a top heel, to retire The Undertaker. Imagine the heat for that, and that's something Reigns could brag about for his career, that he retired Undertaker. He could be a massive heel that way. So that would be an awesome idea, but I don't see it happening. I think the best thing to do is Cena versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think this is the year to do it, and I'm sensing that's the direction they're going in. Next one comes from RPA. Your thoughts about the last entrance in the Royal Rumble match being reserved for Undertaker because of his age? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting Undertaker to be one of the last entrants. I mean, he's not going to be like number 1 or something. He's going to be in there towards the end, maybe number 30. I would not give him the special treatment of being number 30 just because he's The Undertaker. Let him come in a little bit before that and have to potentially be an early entrant, which of course he wouldn't. But, you know, I don't think WWE should book that storyline where they just give him the number 30 spot because he's entitled to it, because he's a legend. I could definitely see him being in there towards the end. I hope they can do something with Goldberg. I hope they are able to book this match in a way where we can at least see a brief physical altercation between Undertaker and Goldberg, because who knows if we'll ever get to see a one-on-one match between those two. I'd love to see them just have a stare down and brawl for a little bit. The crowd would go nuts for that. That would be an epic Royal Rumble moment. I think they really got to do that. At some point in the match, we got to get a brief brawl between Goldberg and Undertaker. I mean, that would be incredible to see. This one comes from Tristan Quick. What is the worst example of WWE running a great idea into the ground? There have been a lot of examples over the years. I mean, WWE has always tended to take an idea that works and just keep going with it until it 100% no longer works. I mean, the James Ellsworth thing, they definitely did that longer than they needed to, and with more major storylines, like the whole Steve Austin Vince thing, they dragged that thing out for as long as possible. They've dragged the Authority out for a really long time. Any storyline that had some sort of success, it seemed like they just kept going with it. I mean, John Cena, the whole hustle, loyalty, respect, John Cena being the ultimate good guy who never gives up. I mean, they've been running that into the ground for well over a decade. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, that would probably be the biggest example, would be John Cena. I sense if Austin never got seriously hurt and did not have to retire, I think they would have had him as Stone Cold doing his thing forever. I mean, you know, maybe they would have turned him heel eventually, but when they did turn him heel, it was definitely not the right timing. You know, they tend to do those types of things where they run things into the ground. I mean, that's WWE for you. They will take an idea and they will milk every last penny out of it that they can. Next question comes from Mr. Yuck. Does Chris Jericho's win mean a main event push for Braun Strowman and not a U.S. title run, and were seeds planted for Strowman versus Undertaker? Regarding Strowman versus Undertaker, I really hope they're not considering doing that for WrestleMania. To me, that would be such a waste of the Undertaker. We've seen so many disappointing Undertaker versus big man matches over the years, whether it's King Kong Bundy or Giant Gonzalez or Mark Henry or Big Show and Nathan Jones. I mean, I think that would be a huge letdown. Let Strowman face Roman Reigns. I mean, I think they need to do Cena versus Undertaker. So I hope that was just to set up a potential confrontation at the Royal Rumble, and maybe Undertaker will be the one to eliminate Braun Strowman. That is something I could see happening. But beyond that, I do not think it's a good idea to do that match for WrestleMania. I mean, I think Undertaker is at the stage of his career where he's going to need to be carried by somebody, and I don't think Strowman's that guy. I don't think that would be a good idea. So I think that they should have some sort of confrontation at the Rumble, but just keep it brief and do not do anything more beyond that. And as far as Chris Jericho goes, let me go back to the question here. I mean, yeah, I could very well see Strowman going for the Universal title now and not the U.S. title. It's looking to me like it'll be Owens and Jericho for the U.S. title and Strowman and Reigns for the Universal title, unless they change things, which could very well happen. Got this one here from Yanel Simon. I apologize if I pronounced the name wrong. What do you think about how Rusev is being booked right now? I think it's okay. I mean, I expected Rusev to be phased down after that Roman Reigns feud was over. He's been doing the stuff with Enzo and Cass, and I expect that feud to continue heading into WrestleMania. You know, they'll do a tag team match, I'm sure, once Enzo's back in the ring again. They'll do Enzo and Cass versus Rusev and Jinder Mahal. I feel Rusev has definitely been impressing me over the last several weeks. I mean, his work has been really good, both in the ring and on the mic. I mean, that segment on Raw, I mean, I was not a huge fan of that segment. I felt HBK was off, and I felt the scripting was poor, but I thought Rusev did the best job of everybody involved. I thought his lines were really good and his delivery was good. So Rusev has impressed me a lot. I think the guy's doing really well for himself, and I hope they just don't turn him into the second version of the comedy Kozlov figure, which is what I feared for a while, especially when they were doing that storyline with Summer Rae. That's when I felt like Rusev was just going to go into the mid-card hell, but you know, they've kept him as a fairly serious character, and I hope that continues, and maybe when he turns babyface someday, he can actually be a badass babyface and not be a comedy figure. One can only hope, though. This one comes from Ben. What superstar that has never won the Royal Rumble and has been in the main event of WrestleMania do you think should have? My pick is Kane. Kane is definitely a very solid choice of top guys that haven't won the Royal Rumble or main evented at WrestleMania. Another guy I would say is CM Punk. CM Punk is a guy who was never in the main event at WrestleMania, and he never won the Royal Rumble. So those would be my top two guys. I was going to say Jericho, but Jericho was in the main event of WrestleMania 18, even though Hogan and Rock was really the match everyone tuned in to watch. But he technically was in the main event, so I will not say Jericho. I would say Kane and Punk are the two biggest ones. I'm sure there's somebody else I'm missing, though, but not sure off the top of my head. That'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. Please keep spreading the word. If you would like to support No DQ&A video beyond word of mouth, buy a No DQ&A video t-shirt or a NoDQ.com t-shirt. We also just added Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham t-shirts over on ProWrestlingTees.com. Search No DQ or check the link in the description box on YouTube to check out the No DQ store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Thank you all again, and I will see you next time for more No DQ&A video.